Yeah, yeah, yeah. Show me some. Show me. Show me some. Show me. Show me some. Show me. Show me some. Hey, show me some.
All right, so now these are going to some hard questions are coming up next. First one's about life insurance. Do you have any life insurance policies in place on you that you own, not through work, but ones that you own?
Should I say no?
Say whatever you want.
I'm gonna make something up here. So
Sure.
yes, I have one on me, and it's like $100 a month.
It's $100 a month. Okay, and do you know what carrier that's with?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you know when you took it out?
Like 5 years ago.
Okay, and do you know what kind of policy? Is it temporary term or
It's
is
a
it permanent
term.
whole life or UL term?
Yeah, it was a term
Okay, and do you know if
policy.
it's a 20, 30-year term?
A 30-year term.
30. And do you know what the face value is?
250,000.
Nice. All right. And then is there anything in place on your husband
Through his work.
through his work? All right. So we don't really count work policies because that's not a permanent program and it's not going to be around when you retire or when he retires. All right. Now let's talk about retirement. Do you have a 401k, 403, anything like that that you contribute to on a monthly basis?
No.
Do you have an old one that you haven't done anything with that's still sitting around out there?
Yes.
Yep. So how much do you think is in that one the last time you looked? And I'm sorry, I know it's painful what's been happening, but how much do you think is in there right
100,000.
now? Okay. And does your husband have one?
Yes.
And is it an old one or an active one that he's currently
An
contributing
active
to?
one.
Okay, great. So the one that's active, how much do you think is in there right now?
Let's just say 50,000.
Okay. And how much do you think he puts in per month?
I don't know. 500. I don't know.
500.
I
It
don't know what goes into these. What's that?
Right. And is any of that money that he's putting in, is there a company match with that? Or is he putting
Yes.
just, yes? So are they matching 500 or are they matching less than that? I think he's probably matching less than that, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah. So how much less do you think he's matching? I mean, maybe putting in 250 and he's putting in 500?
Maybe like 25% or something.
Thanks for playing into my narrative. All right. So, all right. So look, Ms. Martin, I'm looking at this. I'm going over everything. Let me do some quick math here for you, and then I'll get you a solution. 3, 4, 45, 5, 52. Okay. And you're making, that's 83. That's 16, 3. Okay. All right. So here's where we go. First off, the reason why you originally contacted us, this is what you want, the summary, right, Ziller?
Yep.
This is circling back. Okay.
Watch what now? Now watch the magic, Mur.
All right. So a couple of things, Miranda. Just let me ask a couple follow-up questions. You've got 2 children, 13 and 11. Is your plan for them to be able to go to college?
Yes.
Have you set up a college fund for them yet?
Mm-mm.
Nope. Okay. And do you have any life insurance on either one of them in case something, God forbid, happens to them while they're still living with you?
No.
Okay.
I'll say that I do, but I feel bad even lying about that, but that's okay.
Okay.
But
All
no,
right. So
I don't.
Here's what I'm saying. So first off, looking at this from a health and a life underwriting perspective, I see a couple of problems. And the first problem I see is you have a significant history of heart and heart-related illnesses in your family. Your father had a heart attack. You had 2 grandfathers that both passed from heart attacks. And that causes me some concern. So when I'm looking at this from an underwriting perspective, and I look at what the normal causes of death are and things like that, I see your family has a genetic propensity towards heart and heart-related illnesses. So therefore, the first thing I'm going to recommend for you, and we'll touch base on size later, but the first thing is you definitely should have a heart attack and stroke policy. And also there definitely should be a life insurance program in here that has living benefits that are going to give you some benefit if you happen to have a heart attack or a stroke or some kind of circulatory related issue. So that's the first thing I see. The second thing I see, you've got 2 instances of cancer that you relayed to me, and both of these are in your grandmother or in your grandmothers. Now, it is still 1 generation removed from you, so I don't know how how much that's going to translate to you, but I do have a concern, a slight concern. So if you had an option to go with a heart-focused program or one that gives you some heart focus and some cancer focus, my recommendation is going to be to do it the heart focus. Maybe the cancer, maybe you have it, maybe you don't, but definitely the heart piece is what you definitely need. All right. So, and finally, I'm looking at your mortgage of $495,000, and the only coverage that I saw that you have anywhere here is $250,000 a term. What's the purpose of that term program?
I just got it because I thought it was like good to have. So
Okay.
it was affordable. So I was like, okay. And I think I get my money back at the end of that one. So like if I don't die, I get my money back. So it's kind of like
So it's
saving
return of premium then.
$100. Yeah.
Okay. When the last time you looked at that, did you actually look at when you get your money back?
I don't know. I think it was at the end. I don't know. It was
Okay.
a long time ago, but
Okay.
I think I get most of it or all of it. I can't remember.
All right, very good. So here's what I'm seeing. If something happens, if your $100,000 that you make stops, and all that's left is your husband's receiving $100,000, that means your family is going to have a reduction of 50% of their total income on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem. And what I see right now, if his income is $8,300 a month, right now as a family, you're accustomed to receiving over $16,000 a month. That's 100 and 100, $16,000 a month. And you're spending $5,200. Now, I know from your savings accounts, I can see where $1,600 of the balance is going, but that also means the part that I can't see, which is another $1,600, it's going somewhere that you're not accounting for. That's lifestyle. And what's going to happen is your husband and your children, when you pass, are going to have a significant degradation in their lifestyle. It's going to become tight. And the things that you guys do as a family right now, that's going to stop. So I know that's not what you want. And I know that's why we're talking, because this is a mortgage protection program. So we're going to make sure we get that covered. And if that $250,000 was there just because you think you should have it, I agree with you 100%. Actually, according to the National Association of Insurance Producers, the amount of coverage you should have at your age with the amount of money you earn is about 1.5 million. So you are very short on the amount of coverage you should have. I don't know that we're gonna cover that today, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to make sure that if something happens to you tomorrow, the house is paid off, because that house, which is $3,000, that's the difference between what your lifestyle is now and what your husband and your children's lifestyle will be without you. So if we can make sure that's eliminated, then you're going to be good to go. So as we're coming back through and looking at all these things, here's my next problem for you. Let me ask you a question. I know you drive a lot and you see a lot of stuff. Have you ever seen somebody texting while they're driving?
Yes.
You ever seen somebody eating a burger while they're driving?
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I saw a guy driving a construction van. He was texting with his right hand, eating a burger with his left hand, and steering with his elbow. You ever seen something like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, look, I'm sure that you're a good driver. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the other morons on the street that are out there doing that stuff that may be causing the accident that you're involved in. So what I see here right now is, because you're spending 30 miles a day on the road, 150 miles a week on the road, that's 600 miles a month on the road, that's 7,200 miles a year on the road, just doing normal mundane things, you're at a higher risk for an accident. And so we need to get some accident coverage. And based on your income level, I'm going to say probably about 500,000, which is about the max size policy you can get. So we're going to do that. We're also going to do this heart attack program, because my barometer, Miranda, is 3. If I see 3 instances of cancers, heart attacks, or strokes in your family history, we're going to do that, because you need that. You need that protection. So we're going to get you a heart attack and stroke policy also. And then I'm looking at your mortgage. So your mortgage is $495. I'm actually going to write 2 separate programs, Miranda, on your mortgage. And here's why. When you pay your mortgage down over time, when you get to that 20-year mark, you don't owe $495,000 anymore. You owe about half. That's what a normal amortization schedule looks like. So we're going to cover the first 20 years of your mortgage with a $250,000 20-year term policy. And we're going to cover the last 10 years with a $250,000 30-year term policy. And doing the math based on these costs, by doing it that way, instead of just getting you one $30,000 30-year program and getting you a 250 times two, 120-year, 130-year, I'm actually going to save you $19,000 of premiums over time. Okay. And by doing that, guess what? Everything we're talking about today, it's actually free. Because it's what you would have been paying for just the one policy. Now we're getting you all this extra stuff, all this extra solutions. Now, two more pieces here. I'm looking at your children. And while I like that they're going to go to college, there's a couple of programs we should be looking at for your children. And the first thing that they should have is they should have a program from a company called Foresters. It's the best children's whole life policy on the planet that I can find, because it comes with a ton of membership benefits. And including access to a scholarship fund and an orphan fund in case you pass. And what I like for that is it's pretty inexpensive. So we're going to look at two $25,000 policies for your kids. And then the last thing is this, and this is not a today thing, but I'd like to set up a college program for your children. It's not going to cost you a lot of money, but we're going to use what's called an IUL, Indexed Universal Life, one for each one of your children. And that's going to set them up so that they won't be able, and we'll talk about the strategy about paying for college, but you won't pay for it all at once. It will drip money on an annual basis once they're out of college that they can actually use to pay their student loans. So their student loans will be a zero cost program for them, and they'll still have this program for the rest of their lives. All right. And the last thing we're going to do here is I'm looking at this 401 that you've got sitting out there. Let me ask you, how much money that's in that 401 do you want to lose? I think it's zero, but Ms. Martin has muted herself. So we're going to go ahead and assume that she doesn't want to lose any money out of that 401k. Okay, so
we should, Murray, you're muted.
I know my mouse died. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yes, it's zero.
So here's what I'm thinking we should do, Ms. Martin. Let me ask a question for you. Have you ever seen an assisted living facility? Have you ever been there?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever noticed whether the majority of the people that are in there are male or female?
They're mostly females.
Yeah, 71% of the people that go into an assisted living facility are female. So here's what I want to do for you. I want to give you a program that gives you access to it's similar to a long-term care policy that can pay for stuff like that, but you don't have to qualify for it medically and you don't have to pay for it. And it's also going to be a place that's going to grow over time. You'll never lose another penny from your 401k. How does that sound?
Good.
All right. So that's it, what I see for you. And then we're going to do the same thing, go through the same process for your husband. Okay. So let's sum up.
Yeah.
2 children's whole life policies, accidental death, a 20-year term, a 30-year term, a heart attack and stroke policy. I did the takeaway on the cancer policy. We're going to do a $100,000 annuity rollover. We've got very little debt here, so there's not going to be a DFL play maybe. And then we're going to look at where the money for this program is going to come from, especially since we've got this. I want to save $2,000 into savings account 1, 500 into 2, and 500 into 3. We're going to create probably an IUL or maybe a DFL, but not in the form of a DFL. It's going to be an infinite bank focused program. So there's, I think that's 7. Yeah, there you go, 7 policies.
So, Mur, do you see how, like, through that intense kind of like line of questioning and how much he can, like, and I loved how matter of fact he was. So here's what else we're going to do. Here's what else we're going to do. Here's what I'm also going to recommend because you need this. My barometer's 3 with cancer and we have more than that. And it's just boom, boom, boom. And like, he goes around the horn and covers every single aspect. It's undeniable, right? And he justifies each and everything that your family needs to do because he did such a good job at grabbing that information in the very beginning. We're way past the 14 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I mean, but it's what you have to do going through that process. We'll just break it up and do kind of a part 1, part 2, Mur. Okay. But so good. And let's see what this is.
Cool.
All right, and go up on that. So I don't really.
All right. So here's Miranda's information.
Yep.
39 years old, Fathers
Okay, yeah, you
alive,
wrote down
mothers
heart
alive,
attack
616.
cancer, heart attack
Yep.
cancer. Yep. Okay.
And then there's the aunts and uncles are over here.
Yeah.
Siblings, children. Here's information about the kids, 13, 11. And we're looking at no college in place. So there's that. There's the accidental death piece, 150 miles a week. That's 7,200 miles a year. There's this is called an IESLR format. IESLR. I is income, E is expenses, S is savings, L is life, R is retirement. So using that format puts everything in columns so I can do the math quickly. There's the monthly expenses after the math is done. I already know what $100,000 a month is going to yield. That's 16.2. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love again, the fact about the assisted living, female 71%. There's a bunch of stuff that I wrote down. I love it. Absolutely positively love it. Mer, what did you think on the other side of it really quick?
Yeah, it was good. It was thorough. What do you like? You're obviously very confident with going through this stuff, but training new people on doing that, how do you recommend they get to the point where they can ask those questions with that
Start
level
small.
of confidence, or else they don't make people frustrated,
Right.
you know? But you're this Johnny on the spot, so you can get through it. But yeah.
Right. Start with the basics, asking just basic questions about mother, father, grandparents, aunts, uncles. You're going to discover heart attack, stroke, and cancer policies. That's easy to do. Ask questions about the kids. That's the kids' policies. That's easy to do. And then everybody drives. And that little story I told, that's actually true. I did see a construction van guy driving that vehicle like that. And that's all I use. Facts tell, stories sell, right? Same deal. So ask the question about how far do you drive? Okay, and then you can make the case.
Yeah.
That's
No,
it.
you're spot on. And you're right, Mer. It is like, that's a lot for a brand new agent to do. But like, we got to get into the habit and routine of doing, right? And so it's like, if all you go in there for is just the basic mortgage protection, that's what you're going to get, right? But if you go in there for the whole kit and caboodle, you're going to walk out with some stuff as opposed to just nothing, right? It's like that. We've always said that forever and a day. Like, if you always, in every single presentation, like if you're able to, you always offer up children's policy, mortgage protection policy, and an accidental policy, you have a high probability of walking out those three. And then guess what happens? And you offer that as like your top package. And then guess what happens? Like, if they need to cancel one of those policies, they typically just cancel the biggest one and then they keep the other two. So it's like, that's the one thing that I noticed once I really started kind of heading down this path. So good.
Persistence.
Yeah, so good, so awesome. Start simple with it. I love that just initially. Hey, let's talk about this. And then 51% of Americans are being diagnosed with cancer today. So just start there and start planting those seeds about cancer within your clients. You're going to start picking up a bunch more cancer, heart attack, and stroke policies. Very simple to offer. Mutual of Omaha, Critical Advantage. Click the option. You can even cover their family in those policies too. I just recently started like kind of offering those up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So thank you so much, Scott. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. Miranda Martin, that will definitely help people not suck at sales. I love you, lady. Thanks for being the guinea pig on this one. And outside of that, you guys know what to do. Thank you guys so much for listening. We truly appreciate all of the comments and all the love and all the outpouring that you guys are giving us. If you want to contact us individually, if you have certain questions for us about this particular episode, or if you have questions about anything, any ideas, tips, or tricks that you want to share with us, please click the link below. You'll have a direct access link to Miranda and a direct access link to myself.
Yep, keep the ideas coming, guys, because anything that we can do to help you not suck at sales, well, that's our mission. So it's a wrap.
I go for that gusto, losing ain't an option. Check a bag and make deposits and deposits and deposits. You see me shining.